So Fable is back, and after a new developer direct, we finally have some real stuff to dig into. We got a closer look at the world, the tone, and what Playground Games is actually aiming for with this reboot. So in this video, I want to break down what we have learned and what's genuinely exciting. Whether you're a long-time Fable fan or just a curious one, we're diving deep into everything they've showed. So let's get into it.
In classic Fable fashion, you begin the game as a child, growing up in the sleepy rural village of Briar Hill. It's here that in a moment of extreme danger, your heroic powers first emerge.
The first gameplay we are shown is of our character as a child running through the town, Briar Hill. And if you look over to the left, you'll see a sign for a pub or a lodge called the Rose and Thorn. I think this is a reference to the character Briar Rose. Briar Rose was a character in Fable 1 who was a part of the Heroes Guild. She was very arrogant but very intelligent at the same time.
And we discover that you are Albion's first hero in a generation. But not long afterwards, disaster strikes, and the people of your village, including your beloved grandma, are turned to stone by a mysterious stranger.
When I saw this segment of the video, I was very interested to know if this is the statue of our grandma or if this is another NPC in the village that also got turned to stone. Because if it is, we do notice that there's a young boy stood at the side of her. And this kind of prompts me to think that when we choose our character's gender at the beginning of the game, we may have a brother and sister to choose from, and whichever we don't choose also gets turned to stone.
Suddenly alone in the world, you'll set off on an adventure which will change Albion forever.
Idyllic rolling hills, magical forests, bustling villages, sleepy hamlets, oversized vegetable patches.
So in this scene, we are shown a farm with a lot of giant vegetables around, with a sign on the left that says Fudge Off, and a sign on the right that says something like Yikrum Free Zone. So I think it's safe to say that this is the farm of the giant that we see later on in the video. It's kind of making me think of a theory that I came up with, where later on in the video a guy talks about the people are going to judge you depending on if you kill the giant or not, especially his sister. I'm maybe thinking that Yikrum could be his sister, and they're not really friends, they hate each other, and the reason that she would hate you isn't for killing the giant, it's actually for not killing the giant. I think that she will be the other side. If anything, she might actually be the one who tries to get you to kill her brother. That could be a bit of a stretch. Name on the plaque is just like a monster. But as it stands, I think his sister's name is whatever the sign says, and she is going to be the one that wants you to kill her brother.
And stunning vistas.
We can't wait to welcome you back to Albion's iconic capital city, Bowerstone. Home to Fairfax Castle, the old clock tower, and the legendary Heroes Guild.
It's a huge city, full of contrasts. Rich and poor, nobles and commoners.
I really did look at every single one of these shots to try and find a gnome or a gargoyle, and I'm not... I don't think I saw any. This could possibly be a gargoyle because it doesn't look like any of the other pillars or towers. So let me know what you think. Could this possibly be a gargoyle? I'm not sure.
Royalty and criminals. You'll spend plenty of time here during the game as you discover the secrets of the Heroes Guild and its reclusive guildmaster, Humphrey the Golden.
In the north of Albion, you'll find mountains, craggy coastlines.
Now, this scene really had me thinking of a lot of questions, because the mountain is a very well-carved person with a sword, or it's... I don't know, it's a bit of a stretch, but it could be a giant that's been turned to stone, because we've seen a character that has been turned into a giant, and we've seen a character that has been turned to stone. So I am very interested to see if it's a carving or it did actually used to be a person.
Spooky marshes, and the bleak, windswept city of Bloodstone. Here, you'll meet the leaders of two rival gangs, vying for power and uncover the secrets of the sinister but extremely well-organized Cult of Shadows.
Bloodstone was introduced in a previous game. I believe it was Fable 2, and it is basically an area for all crime and dodgy dealings. The Cult of Shadows could be a reference to either just the Temple of Shadows, which we've kind of had in each Fable game, or there was also a group called the Shadow Court, which could be very similar to the Cult of Shadows.
Our Albion is beautiful, handcrafted, and richly detailed.
In Albion, heroes are special, different. They're stronger than regular people. They're more skillful, more charismatic. More importantly, they're those rare humans who can harness and use magic in the world around them. They have the power to do what they want.
So, in Fable, you'll be able to pick from a range of different character heads and customize your clothing, hair, skin tone, tattoos, and scars, so the hero you play represents you.
Okay, so there's a few things I would like to talk about at this scene. Number one would be that we don't get to customize our characters' faces. It seems that they have pre-selected faces and heads that you can choose from, kind of like how Baldur's Gate 3 did it. And I imagine they've done it this way just so it's a lot easier on the facial animations. It's probably the most cleanest and effective way of doing it. But it does look like you get to add your cosmetics and also change your hair. And the second thing I would like to talk about is I'm very interested to see how they handle the clothing options. Do we get to choose gloves, boots, pants, waistcoats, or is it more of a pre-selected outfit?
But as well as your appearance, you can be the hero you want to be through the way you play, through the skills and abilities you learn, and through the weapons you use.
Just like the classic trilogy, heroes in our game fight with a combination of strength, skill, and will. Seamlessly blending melee and ranged weapons with magical abilities gives us style-weaving combat.
I'm actually a massive fan of the combat that they've shown so far. I think it's very fluid and it just works really well. I did actually notice that the character fighting on screen at the moment is using a sword and a dagger. So I'm wondering if that is a weapon set on its own. You get a rapier and a dagger. Or is it that you can wield a rapier in one hand and a dagger in the other and then fight that way? I'll be interested to see how that goes.
Allowing you to show off your personal playstyle.
I also love the atmosphere that the game is setting. I'm wondering if it will be when you're traveling at night time, the fog will come out and that's when you start meeting the undead enemies, or if it's a specific part of the game or area of the game. It kind of gives me like a Dragon's Dogma 2 vibe, which where you're traveling alone at dark, it's a lot more dangerous than during the day. I think this would be a good time to mention as well. If you notice the dots above the health bar, switching between the scenes, it goes from 4 to 2 to 3. I'm wondering what they could be, whether it's a potion that gets used. I've noticed that it doesn't go down when a spell's used. So yeah, I'm wondering about that one.
Against single opponents and large groups of enemies alike. Melee is at the heart of our close quarters combat. You'll use light and heavy combos, often knocking enemies off balance and executing stylish finishers. Swap to your ranged weapon to bypass enemy guard and deal with troublesome flying enemies. And of course, you'll be able to unleash your powerful spells to both manipulate and devastate your opponents.
We're excited to be bringing back some fan-favorite adversaries for you to fight.
It now seems that friendly fire will play a big part in how we choose to approach our fights in Fable. There's some hobs that actually throw magic balls at you, so if you could get the other hobs in the way of those, that could really help. And I imagine if the friendly fire is on for the enemies, it is also on us.
Hobbs are back, as are Balverines, Hollowfolk, and Trolls.
And we're adding brand new enemies too, like this fearsome cockatrice, a giant fire-breathing chicken. Each enemy family is different, with their own weaknesses to exploit and defenses to overcome. But with all the unique tools in your combat toolbox, how you defeat your enemies is up to you.
I originally thought this was a really cool segment until I realized we've basically just walked into the nest of the cockatrice and decided to open a can of whoop-ass, basically. I really do hope we had a good reason. And one thing I did notice is once we kill the cockatrice, it seems to go up in flames, kind of like a phoenix. So maybe the cockatrice is, you know, like a Fable version of a phoenix, or that could just be the repercussions from using spells to actually kill the monster.
Buying a house, getting a job, making some money.
Really like how they've handled the jobs this time around. It's a lot better than just waiting for a dot to go inside of a green box and then clicking A or X. And also, did anyone remember the Fable app that you could get? Where you could just basically like make money on the go. That was like cheat code with Wi-Fi.
Romancing a villager, getting married, having...
So with this is the romance system, and it actually reveals quite a lot. So you can see in the bottom right corner, the full, I guess, relationship that you and your chosen wife or husband would go down. So you would start off with a date, and then you would go to sleep together, and then I guess you would buy a house together, and then a baby would come along, and then you get married.
Kids.
Fancy a date?
Perfect. You can get to know me better.
And then, of course, we get the mini game of actually going on a date. And it looks like at the start you have the choice to give a gift to start off, or actually just leave it and proceed without the gift. And I'm guessing there must be like a meter. Like if someone really has a good time, you know, you've got more of a chance to actually start dating this person, and giving them a gift at the start will probably give you a small bonus for the rest of the date. And if you proceed without, maybe this person will not end up liking you in the end.
Buying another house. Buying every house in Albion. Buying every business in Albion. Getting rich.
Marrying a bunch more people.
I'm excited to see how they handle the children in the game this time around, because even though it's made by a different studio, in previous Fable games, I think the most emotional attachment you got to them was if you was away for a long time and you would come back, they'd kind of be like, let you know that they missed you, I guess. But other than that, there wasn't really much point to the family. So also just a quick mention that if you grew up in the 90s in England, you know this rug. You dream about this rug.
Having a bunch more kids. Probably getting divorced along the way for good measure.
And this game within a game is unique to Fable. It's systemic, interconnected, and you see the ripple effects of the things you do everywhere you go.
And all of this revolves around the people who live in Albion, who we call the living population. There are more than 1,000 of them, and every single one is unique.
So the town we are walking through right now is Briar Hill, the town that we grew up in as a child. So I'm wondering, in terms of story, would grandma and possible brother or sister still be there turned to stone? Will there be a way to bring them back or unpetrify them? That would be quite a bit of the story. You know, you would be all grown up with your sibling still a child.
Each of them has a name, a role, a daily routine, and their own personality. You could follow any one of them for a day and just watch them live their life.
They'll get up, go to work, spend some leisure time on hobbies, then go home to bed.
But what's even cooler is that you can talk to every single one of them in fully voiced conversations and interact with them in loads of different ways. Maybe the job they go to is working for you because you hired them to work in one of your businesses.
Hey, you. Working hard? How can I help you, boss?
Maybe the bed they
In the bottom right of the corner, you can now see a new selection show up, and it does kind of look like it's buy or sell, romance. Not really sure what the handbag is, or if it's a case. But the next one looks like follows a present, and that next one could possibly be like charity, like tossing a coin. Toss a coin to your The person you hired?
sleep in is in a house you own because you're the landlord.
Or maybe their bed is on the street because you evicted them.
All right.
Oh, it's you. You're awful.
And all of the stuff you do affects what they think.
So over here, you can see a beanstalk, which I think it showed it in a original trailer. Maybe not. Maybe I could be making this up. But I think this is where the giant questline comes into, where, you know, it grows a beanstalk and you gotta climb up the beanstalk, and then from there you can either kill the giant or not. I'm guessing if you do kill the giant, the reason he's lying on the mountain is because he fell from the beanstalk and landed there.
Think of you.
You're a legend.
Because everything you do builds your reputation.
Very impressive. Now that's an hero right there.
And importantly, morality is subjective. No two people see things exactly the same way. And that's how it works in our game too.
Everything you do earns you a reputation. And every person in Albion will have a different reaction to you as a result.
Hello there.
Yeah, we get it. You're rich.
They'll remember things you did directly to them, they'll love you or hate you for the choices you make, and they will always tell you why. Although, usually from a safe distance.
Our game will never judge you, but the people of Albion will, loudly.
Imbecile.
Early in the game, you'll meet a character named Dave, an egotistical gardener in a rural village who discovers a magical growth formula. He accidentally turns himself into a giant and becomes a big problem. It'll be your job to deal with him, and ultimately it will be your choice whether to kill him or to spare him. If you kill him, his giant corpse will lie on the farmland just outside of town for the rest of the game.
And that is going to affect house prices. It will also affect what a lot of the villagers think about you.
Especially Dave's sister.
I think Dave's sister is evil. You heard it here first.
In Fable, the choices you make will define you. What does being a hero mean to you?
And that was the end of the Developers Direct. I am so excited for this game. I can't wait till autumn. If there's anything you think I've missed out or anything that you noticed, then please let me know in the comment section and let others know too. If you want to watch more Fable content coming up over the next year, then consider subscribing, because I have a lot of interest on this game. So much interest, in fact, that I'm actually considering playing the first 3 Fable games again and then uploading it all to my YouTube channel, and maybe even stream it. So thanks for watching everyone. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next chapter.